Good morning to those in attendance. We'd like to welcome you to the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting of September 8th, 2022. A roll call, please.
Margraf.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Perez.
Here.
Any conflict of interest statements, gentlemen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Approval of the minutes of the meeting of September 1st, 2022.
You good? I will make a motion to approve those minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bid opening, new police garage. I believe. Let me make sure here. Okay, appears we have one bid for the new police garage from Gary Construction, Gary, Indiana.
I hope there's another one inside there.
A third one would be good. Okay. Okay, there you go. We have the bid form. We have the bid bond. Public Works Form 96, and also the non-collusion affidavit. The bid price being base bid number 1, general construction, $379,500. Add alternate bid number 1 for masonry maintenance, narcotics building, $5,200. Again, I'll give you those two numbers again. $379,500 for base bid 1 and $5,200 for alternate bid 1, masonry maintenance, narcotics building. That is the one and only bid we have received this morning for the new police garage.
Our consultant, CSK Architects.
CSK?
We really didn't have an estimate. We're going to refer the bids to you.
And so I will close the bids. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, I'll make a motion to forward Gary Epps' bid to our consultant, CSK, and also to engineering for their review and recommendation.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah, I think I got it. Okay, all of that. Okay, let's go. Moving on to matters from department heads and/or their representatives. Mr. Button.
Good morning to the board. I have three items, all related to the same project, if I could, please. The first one is the Jake Jacobs matched funding allocations for the citywide, Hammond citywide lighting project. I have it here, sir. Right here for you, sir. This matches our
Nice, nice.
Four of the districts had requested lighting projects be designed, and this went out to bid last year. This year, several weeks ago, we opened bids for the project. There's been a delay to try to get to a point where we could submit this. All of the council, the city controller and the council and the mayor have approved each of those funding allocations for each of their districts. There's two parts to each funding allocation. There is their proportionate share of cost as it relates to the construction. And on the table in the front, you sort of see those cost distribution between each district. So each of those sheets, each individual sheet sort of reflects that on the cover sheet. And then it also shows the proportionate share of construction engineering or observation by VS to pay for that contract. Okay. So they're funding the construction contract and the construction engineering contract. So as I said, it's been approved by the city controller, the individual councilman and the mayor, and I would ask your approval of the 4 funding allocations contained in that request.
Okay, you good?
Yes.
I'll make a motion then to approve Mr. Button's request to approve the 4 funding allocations.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I'll hand you the next 2, which is the corresponding construction agreement and the construction engineering agreement.
Are you speaking to these as well? Okay.
So what I've handed the board president is the construction contract that was duly advertised and awarded to Hawk Enterprises of Crown Point, Indiana, in the amount of about 1.4 million for the 4 district lighting projects. And so I would ask for your approval of the construction contract with Hawk Enterprises.
Okay. Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion then to approve the construction contract with Hawk Enterprises.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the last thing I have for you is the construction engineering agreement, which I just provided to the board president. And what this really is it's an amendment to the existing contract with VS Engineering. So it's not a new contract. They had fee left over from their design to support some of the construction engineering, and this would be the supplemental needed to fully fund the construction engineering or observation of the work. With VS Engineering, so I'd ask for your approval of the supplemental agreement.
Okay, then I will make a motion to approve the construction supplemental agreement.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you. Item A, under correspondence. Correspondence received from Dean Button, Capital Improvements Board, requesting $25,000 of CIB funding to be allocated for the NICD Westlake Corridor Assistance and corresponding agreement with T.Y. Lin International Great Lakes Incorporated, submitted for approval.
T.Y. Lin is a company that has not really been involved in the Westlake project, and so we thought that that would be a consultant that would work well to support the city in our efforts to negotiate with NICD on particular items of concern that the city has, particularly related to the South Hammond Station and the traffic and the parking and all of those sorts of things. And so we have an agreement from T.Y. Lin and a corresponding funding agreement that had been approved previously by the city controller, the mayor, and the Capital Improvements Board. And I would ask for your approval and take any questions you might have.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Button's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Item B, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $37,653.58 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Chicago Street Phase 1, change order numbers 1 through 4, 20 through 25, with corresponding orders submitted for approval.
Yeah, so this is an NDOT project, Chicago Street Phase 1 from Gosselin at the state line to Sheffield at Marble Street. The first 4 change orders were approved prior to the formation of the Capital Improvements Board, and this board, the Board of Public Works and Safety, approved those change orders back then. So this is, this project's been going on for quite some time, but we never set aside funding for those, and so we wanted to clear that up. In the meantime, NDOT has billed us for the change orders through 19, and so I needed to sort of get this cleared up and get NDOT reimbursed for our 20% match. So this is the funding allocation for those first 4 change orders and additional change orders that have come in since. There's a myriad of reasons for these change orders, from There was a asbestos abatement in the Ardulos building, which was a mistake on the cover page. The first item, it wasn't the Ace Hardware, because Ace Hardware is in phase 2. So that was my error, typographical error on the first item. There was additional concrete removal at our Ardulos, and I can describe those in detail if I had the sheet in front of me to sort of talk to you about, but there was some bypass pumping that was needed and a number of those issues. And so we're asking for your approval of the funding allocation that's been approved by the city controller, the mayor, and the capital improvements board, as well as the individual change orders in triplicate for each of those 7 different change orders. And so I would ask your approval of not only the funding allocation and the change orders themselves, and take any questions.
They're listed, so we read them.
We've got them all.
Okay, I'll make a motion then to approve the funding allocation and change orders per Mr. Button's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item C, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $18,938.91 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Holman Avenue Phase 1 Change Order Number 4, with corresponding order submitted for approval.
Change order number 4 is for the removal of the awning to the LaSalle Hotel building. It was brought to the engineering department that, by the economic development department, that the awning needed to be removed. But during the course of the project, it was determined that the awning is also in conflict with the street lighting that's being installed on Holman Avenue. And so rather than it being funded through the redevelopment commission as what would have been originally planned, it is a project cost, and we would seek that it be funded through the capital improvements board. We did that, so it's been approved by the city controller, the mayor, and the capital improvements board on Tuesday night. The engineering consultant, American Structure Point, had reviewed the change order. We negotiated down one extra day that the contractor had that we didn't think was necessary, and so we got a better price and have 4 days of removal and repair. The risk is that we don't know what's happening behind the awning, right? We have to remove the overhang and the material up against the building, so we don't know what we're going to find when we pull that off, and we really just want to cover it up and make it look appropriate. But until we see what's going on behind the awning, there could be additional price, but we're hopeful that we can get it all accomplished in the 4 days planned. I would ask for your approval of the funding allocation and change order number 4 for Holman Avenue Phase 1.
Okay, I'll make a motion then to approve the funding allocation and change order number 4 per Mr. Button's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item D, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $105,832.50 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Holman Avenue Phase 1, change order number 5, replace water and sewer on Sibley with corresponding order submitted for approval.
As a result of the proposed agreement with ATG and the construction of the Taylor Row development at Holman Avenue between Sibley and Rimbach, the existing water and sewer lines follow the Sibley alignment straight through to Holman. As you know, as you're driving eastbound on Sibley, it sort of turns to the left as it approaches a traffic signal, but the water line goes straight and what would be underneath the new buildings. So we have to relocate those lines to get it out of the footprint and to release the rights that the utilities have to convey the property to the new developer.
Okay.
And so in order to do that, this project is a change order through the contract we have with Reith Riley on the reconstruction of Holman Avenue Phase 1. The funding allocation went through the city controller, the mayor, and the capital improvements board then on Tuesday night. And so I would ask for your approval of the funding allocation and the change order number 5, and I'd take any questions.
I just have one. So this would not have been known during,
Bidding?
until they opened up the roadway or started doing their locating the water main?
We knew it was there. What we didn't know at the time of the bid was what the footprint of the new development was going to be.
Okay.
Had they constructed, we have to vacate part of the right-of-way.
Okay.
It's hard to picture, but the right-of-way went straight through, and then the road moved over, and the utilities were left behind and didn't move over to the roadway. And so that property conveyance would have to be kept separate, right? We would have had to leave that there, and we wouldn't be able to convey the property we need to for the development.
I got it. I understand. Thank you.
Okay, then I will make a motion then to approve the funding allocation for Hammond Avenue Phase 1 and also change order number 5 for the same project per Mr. Button's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Thank you. Item E, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $4,000 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Safe Streets and Roads for all application assistance with corresponding agreement with First Group Engineering submitted for approval.
U.S. Department of Transportation has grants available, which includes Safe Streets and Roads for All, SS4A is what it's being referred to as. These applications are due next week. So the consultant has graciously agreed to start working on the application in advance of this approval. But what we're trying to do is submit an application to receive planning funds in order to make improvements, particularly we feel around the schools. As you know, we've had a significant number of projects around the Hammond public schools that have needed attention and revision to how we deal with traffic. In particular, one example would be at Kenwood School. We're talking about changing the traffic pattern, but in the long-term solution would be to widen Moraine Street, which is quite narrow and only has room for one lane in each direction. So if we widened Moraine at a fairly low cost, we would, improve that condition by Kenwood School. And so those sorts of things we're looking at. I know Councilman Torres, who's here today, has some concerns about what's going on at Irving School. We've had questions about Lincoln School. We've dealt with Burns Hicks and the Hammond High School. So there's a lot going on, and that's going to be the focus of this application. But other areas that we can make improvements throughout would be for that. I know it's a fairly low cost application, consultant fee. The agreement, the funding allocation has been approved by the city controller, the mayor, and the capital improvements board, and I would request approval of the funding allocation and the agreement from this board.
Okay, I will make a motion then to approve the funding allocation and the agreement per Mr. Button's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item F, correspondence received from Dean Button requesting $14,325 of CIB funding to be allocated for the Chicago Street right-of-way dedication exhibits and assistance with corresponding agreement with First Group Engineering submitted for approval. Was I right with the ROW? Right away?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Perfect. Well
It
done.
came out before I thought about
I
it.
was hoping he would say row.
Couldn't have been better. To affect the construction of the Gateway Station TOD, right, the physical area just north of where the new Gateway Station for NICD is going, we own the property, right? We acquired all those homes along the south side of Goslin, but the separation between those parcels and the right-of-way had never been established. And I reached out to our consultant on that project to ask them to do that work. They said It wasn't in their original scope, and they didn't have the capacity at this time to do that work. So I asked First Group Engineering, who's our other qualified NDOT consultant, help us through this process of dividing those parcels into between right-of-way and the remaining property that can be developed through the TOD. And so that's what this step is for, is to prepare those exhibits and work our way through the process of dedicating that property and right-of-way.
Is this the same issue we're having with the county? The same parcels that you and I have been working on, or
No,
different?
this is north of the NICD tracks,
Not the issue we're having.
not
down
Chicago
by
Street.
Chicago Street
No,
that we're working.
correct.
Good?
Yes. Anything further, Mr. Button, on that?
Well, we approved the funding allocation. The city controllers have signed off, the mayor and the capital improvements board have all signed off. And the agreement is there for your consideration. I would ask for your approval of both.
Okay, I will make a motion then to approve the funding allocation along with the agreement per Mr. Button's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item G. Correspondence received from Special Events Coordinator Eileen Ibarra requesting permission to hold the 2022 Hammond Veterans Appreciation Day Parade from 8 a.m. until approximately 12 or noon on Saturday, November 5th, 2022, with route attached.
Good.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve Ms. Ibarra's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item H, correspondence received from Special Events Coordinator Eileen Ibarra requesting permission to hold the 2022 Hammond Holiday Parade from 8 a.m. until approximately noon on Saturday, December 3rd, with route attached.
Make a motion to approve Ms. Ibarra's request.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't see Donnie here. Item I, correspondence received from Purdue Northwest University requesting permission to assist and support their annual Fall Frolic / Jenny Hamilton Memorial 4-mile run to be held on Sunday, November 13th, 2022 at 9 a.m. with attached route. Additionally, requesting assistance with EMA vehicles. Yeah, I think they've done this before.
They have, yeah. I'll make,
Okay.
include the motion to send to the,
Although I don't remember, Jeff, has it always been on a Sunday? Is it Saturday? It's weekend, but I don't remember.
no, I think
let's see.
Sunday.
Sunday, okay.
I thought Sunday.
Okay. And that doesn't conflict with, it's the following weekend after Veterans, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we're good there.
Okay, I will make a motion then to approve Purdue Northwest University's request and also forward the request to EMA for their assistance.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item J, correspondence received requesting a rental registration hearing.
Make a motion to set the hearing for September 22nd, 2022.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Matters from board members? Mr. Long?
No, sir.
Mr. Perez?
No, sir.
You sure? Moving on to new business. Item A, notice of violation hearing for property located at 2312 White Oak Avenue.
Good morning.
Morning.
I would request that the board could set this over to next week. The inspector who performed the inspection and prepared the file for the hearing and emergency this morning had a cough, so I request a hearing date scheduled for next week where he can present his case to the board.
Okay.
Like the 15th?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to set this over to next week's meeting, September 15th.
Thank you.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item B, Administrative Services Agreement with United Healthcare Services submitted for approval.
This is a lingering item with our new healthcare provider, United Healthcare. For some reason, it wasn't done initially. Controller's office, I believe, has it signed by United Healthcare, first, and we would request its approval.
Okay, then I will make a motion then to approve the agreement with United Healthcare Services.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Garage sale permits submitted for approval, item C.
It must be the season, huh?
Not too hot, nice.
Perfect, yeah. Okay, I will make a motion to approve the garage sale permits.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item D, Robertsdale access agreements for property located at 1221 Lakeview Avenue, 1315 Lakeview Avenue, 1224 121st Street, and 1320 121st, submitted for approval.
Yes, once again, to the board, this is regarding the letter mediation up in Robertsdale. These are other folks that are coming on board, and we would request its approval to continue Phase 2 of that project.
Okay, then I will make a motion then to approve the access agreements.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And lastly, I don't believe item E might be on your agenda. I have it as right-of-way permit submitted for engineering for approval. Mr. Gordish?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
There is 4 permits, 3 of them pertaining to the train, 6, Hockey and Blaine. Comcast is relocating some lines, underground lines for boring.
You're going under.
Yes. Holman Avenue, that needed a time extension. They ran across a AT&T duct. It's just about approximately a week. Actually, it should be wrapping up.
Open Avenue where?
By the South Shore tracks.
Oh, okay.
So that is currently closed.
Gotcha.
And there's another one for Verizon on 165th by Osborne going to a tower over there. I guess there's some kind of, for boring. So I would recommend approval, and just information forthcoming. 165th is going to be worked on in October-ish, and also Conkey is going to be worked on. But 173rd is going to be open, and everything else should be open at that particular time. So,
Is that date still September 30th, Mark, for 173rd?
yes, sir.
Is that the date we're looking for?
Yes. So that will be open. Everything else will be open. Highland was just open this past week.
Okay.
Or last
Real
week.
quickly, is the bridge closed on Northcott now? Do we know?
Not as of yet.
Not
I went
yet.
past there.
Okay. Okay. That's a 4 or 5 week
Right.
repair. Okay.
Okay, then I will make a motion to approve the right-of-way permits.
Thank you.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 10, old business. A, status, 504 177th Street.
Yes, I know Mr.
Mr. Driscoll's been waiting. I'm not sure which property he's.
That's it, this is it.
Okay.
Yep, he's there on 504 177th. Just to update the board, we were here on May 26th for a status. Mr. Driscoll indicated at that time that his client was going to be doing some pretty significant work in the near future. I know Jordan is here, our inspector from the 4th District. He gave me an update yesterday that said that a permit for the garage roof replacement has taken place. All new decking's been installed on the west side of the garage. I'm sorry, whoops, I'm on the wrong address. The home and garage are getting new siding, and they've already installed the doors and windows per the permit. He's updated the photos, and he believes that it's on track for the rehab. Jordan, yep, we got new photos here, so thank you for those. I'll show those to the board. So, and you guys, this is the, to the board, this is the property that's right on the edge of the park and 177th, right here where Harrison and 177th meet. There's, what's the name of that park? Bill's Park? Rich's Park, thank you. Rich's Park, so it's
Right on the corner?
right on the edge. It used to be red. It was a red property,
Right,
so.
right, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if Mr. Driscoll wants to also update, I've got some past photos here as well that I can just show so you guys can see the difference.
Since it's going well, are we just asking for?
Yeah, I would request probably I was going to ask Mr. Driscoll what he thinks the completion date was, but I was going to suggest a 60 or a 90 date just so we can hopefully have it done with rehab by the end of the year.
Either year goes just fine. I think if 60 or 90 is a choice, I'll go 90, give a little bit more cushion, but 60 is fine if the board prefers.
Yeah, I would just ask Jordan if he thinks things are progressing enough where we can give him 90 instead of 60.
Everything is progressing in orderly fashion for the property. 60 days should be sufficient, but if the owner would like 90 days as a cushion, he does need to have additional permits for work for the inside of the property to begin as soon as they finish the exterior.
Jamie, do you know if he's on track to get the inside moving? Because it seems like the outside's going, we'd like to get the whole thing kind of done and over with.
Yeah, Kevin, I apologize. When I asked for the update, like I had communicated to you, it was kind of a general, we're almost done finishing up the side of the garage. So I apologize, but I can't tell you what the time frame or best time frame is for the interior.
So let's go 60, let's go 60 because I think I want to make sure we're keeping this, Mr. Driscoll's client kind of on task. And then if we need to go an additional time, that's probably the way to go. Because I want to make sure the inside's moving because there's really no reason that the inside can't be moving. So Jamie, if you could just remind him that he needs to get permits on that, as the inspector just pointed out, for the inside to get that moving.
That's fine, and I will communicate that to them.
Okay, and also when the permits are pulled for the interior of the property, to make sure that inspections are called in according to what the permits are specifying.
Were you able to hear that?
Yes.
Okay,
Nice.
thanks.
So do we want to do November 10th or 17th?
Let's go the 17th.
17th? Okay, I'm going to make a motion then to set this matter for status to November 17th, 2022.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Driscoll.
All right, thank you very much.
Item B, status, 3407 Kenwood.
Okay, 3407 Kenwood. Mr. Farrell provided an update, and just so the board is aware, this is under a rehab. It was signed on June 2nd. That's why it's up today. It's 90 days. The bond was posted. Permits have been issued for interior and exterior building. Rough framing inspection were performed and passed. The electrical permit was issued. The rough electrical passed, and NIPSCO restored electrical service so that work could continue. Plumbing permit, rough passed. HVAC permit, there's no inspections called in yet on that permit. So things are moving. I would suggest we set this over for that 60-day date of November 17th. And if we need an extension on the rehab, we'll get that moving as well.
Okay.
Okay, I will make a motion then to set that over for status to November 17th, 2022.
I second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 726 167th Street?
This also
Right.
is one of Jordan's properties. He's got some updated photos. You want to just give those to the board? And he's reported that the permit has been pulled for the garage roof and replacement. Work has started. New decking's been installed on the west side, and he's showing the photos. So it seems like things are moving.
And also the garage door has been replaced already.
So to me, this is I mean, your call.
60 days would be sufficient. He shouldn't need any additional time in the matter. He is moving rather quickly to get everything taken care of in an orderly fashion. He does also have a city citation regarding the garage, so he is trying to move in accordance to the citation.
Okay, so stay with the 17th.
I think so. And then what we'll do is if Jordan tells us that everything's done and it's passed everything, we'll have an order to rescind on that date.
Understood.
Okay. I will make a motion then to set this for status to November 17th, 2022.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 36 Mason.
So 36 Mason, according to Mr. Farrell, and I don't, oh, hi. Are you here for 36 Mason? You are. Okay. So we have what's been stated regarding 36 Mason is that even though a permit's been pulled, that was issued on 8/4 to Feldco Factory Direct Outlet to tear off the re-roof the house. Is that it? Your house? Beautiful house? But the garage, not so beautiful?
No.
Yes. So I'll show that to the board. Are you Miss Mays? All right, and you live there?
I do.
Okay. So, there you go.
Thank you.
Our concern is that it's not moving fast enough, so I'm going to let Ms. Mays kind of talk to you about what the plan is and why things aren't moving, so go ahead.
Okay, I do have relatives lined up to get this job done. It's just that things have been happening where everybody can't seem to connect right now, and it's just me. My mom, of course, is unable to do anything. But I think I'm going to need the permit to start the ball rolling, because I'm ready to get this done. Definitely before winter.
So what about this Feldco? So they have, we issued a permit here. and
Oh,
Mr.
that's for the roofing
The
on
roof,
the house.
yeah, you're talking, oh, the roof on the house?
roof on the
So
house.
this has nothing to do with the garage?
No, that's not the
Okay.
garage.
Okay, so we're concerned that the garage isn't getting fixed, right? I
Well, I'm gonna
guess,
tear it down.
you're gonna tear it down?
Yeah.
Okay, so to do that, you gotta have a demolition contractor do that. I don't, Nick, homeowner can't do that on their own, can they, or can they? Depends. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically,
Do you think you have
it's
folks that can
basically
do
the
it?
side standing, because the
Right.
roof is
You can
going.
just push it.
I probably could do that.
See how it goes.
But you can submit fill out a building permit application for the demolition of the structure, because it's an actual structure that's being moved from the property. We do need it permitted, so we need to obtain a dumpster for the debris to get hauled away.
Right.
Right.
As long as they can convey to the building commissioner that it can be done safely without causing any damage to surrounding property or city property, then we typically would let a homeowner.
So it sounds like you gotta get those relatives over and
Oh, yeah,
knock
they
down
better
that
come.
garage.
I'm
Get
gonna
them some
feed 'em,
lunch or
too.
something. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
promise them lunch and it'll happen.
Are we going to give a certain?
I wanna get a 30-day on this because if it's not moving in 30 days, we're gonna have to bid it out and knock it down ourselves, and I don't wanna do that. So, anything you can do, ma'am, to get that moving would be great. What would be the October date?
October 13th, is that okay?
That's fine.
All right, so we'll have this one back on October 13th. All right, we'll see you then.
Permits and everything?
Yeah, as Mr. Farrell mentioned, if you go down there, they'll assist you to help you with that. And then you can do it.
Thank you.
Okay, nice to
Thank
see
you.
you. Thank you for coming in.
Okay, then I'm going to make a motion to set 36 Mason for status to October 13th, 2022.
Thank you.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4436, 4438, and 4440 Torrance.
So as you remember, Chris
Right.
Medina is the owner. He usually shows up. He's in Florida. Kind of various states here, right? 4438 has been demolished, so that's kind of off the list. If we need to get a order to rescind on that, I'll make sure we do that. And I'll check into that. 4436, it seems like final inspections have been passed, both from 2020 plumbing all the way through. There was a rear structure that was removed, and that was performed on July 6th. So as it sits right now, Nick, is there anything stopping the final inspection of 4436 that you know of?
No, they just need to call in a final inspection, do a walkthrough. There was, site board was, had it contained an illegal apartment. There were some, layout concerns in regards to bedrooms up there, but I think we want to address it. So as soon as they call for a final inspection, do a walkthrough, they can approve occupancy of that structure, that two-story structure at, 4436.
And then 4440, we're waiting for also call-ins for final inspections. As of right now, we don't have those. So I'm not sure why Mr. Medina is not on the call. Adrian, if you could maybe just work with Madeline to make sure there's notice to that owner. And let's set this over for, what do you think, Nick? I mean, a couple weeks, 30 days?
Yeah, I think 30 days would be sufficient.
30 days, we
For
go
all
with that
three
October
properties?
date.
For all three?
Yeah, well,
Because he's wanted to kind of take care of all of them.
yes, he does. And he also wants it like, I think he wants it done, we want it done. I think he's close. We just got to get through this final stage, so.
Do we exclude 38 though, because it's been demoed already?
Well, I want to make sure we get the order to rescind on that, so
Gotcha.
let's keep it on.
So 30 days, right?
Yep.
30, yes, sir.
Okay, then I will make a motion to set 44, 36, 38, and 40 Torrance for status to October 13th.
Okay, and then Nick, you'll follow up with Chris to see if he'll maybe call in those inspections?
second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and lastly, 4240 Wabash.
42.
Status.
Yes. 4240 Wabash, last time we were here was June 2nd, then it was set for July 14th. This is a property that we have a demolition order on as of January of 2022. There's also exemptions on the property that still exist, like a homestead. I'm not sure why, because this was a property where the homeowner had passed away. I'm just going to let the board take a look at the original photos that we had on this property. Familiarize yourself with it. And the update here is that the contractor, even though there's been a lot of permits issued, there's a building permit issued on 428, electrical 512, which is awaiting final inspection. Plumbing permit was issued on June 14th. That passed rough. On July 14th, HVAC permit was issued, but no inspections are called in. So it's moving. I don't know, this is kind of up in Mr. Farrell's neighborhood. Maybe he wants to give a further report.
I mean, the exterior of the property has been maintained significantly better than in the past. I know the property owner has made strides in getting the contractors lined up. We just need them to call for inspections. We need a rough inspection for the building permit, and then the finals for the remaining permits, and then hopefully this will be removed. The exterior of the property's been painted and cleaned up. It's been maintained on a regular basis, so that's been an improvement from what it used to be.
So 30 days, 60 days?
The 30-day status should be good. We'll get all of them, make sure that he's notifying his contractors of their inspections.
Okay. Okay, then I will make a motion to set 4240 Wabash for status to October 13th.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Item G, 7120 Jefferson, handicap sign. Anything you want to say in regards to it?
Go ahead.
Morning.
Oh, please.
Can you pull that down a little bit? There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I was just trying to find out whether you've decided if I can have that handicap sign back on the property.
What we have found out is that the Public Works Department at the time was not the department that put the sign up. It originally was the Health Department when the Health Department was attached to the city of Hammond.
Okay,
And consequently, since the Health Department was dismantled within the city, that responsibility went to Public Works.
okay,
And Public Works has no record of approving of the handicap sign being in front of your home.
But I've
Please,
had
let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Please. And in accordance with trying to be fair as we can and working off the policy and the guidelines that Public
Right.
Works has given us, that they've used for many situations across the city, both good and bad, I believe it's the board's position to not put the sign back.
Okay. When I originally applied for it, I went to the works, where they're at now. And they're the ones that approved
Well,
it.
the Health Department was located over off Conkey Street at that
Right,
time.
but I didn't go to the health department. I went to the streets department, where they're at now. That's where I went, and they're the ones that approved it. So I don't know how the health department got involved, because I didn't go to the health department.
I'm not sure how the health department got involved either.
Yeah.
Well, this is just a story that I got yesterday from speaking with the people in Public Works.
Okay, but
I
that's
mean,
where
they track where they
Right.
put these signs up, and they cannot find any information that I was told about that granted the handicap sign at 7120 Jefferson.
because I've had it for more than 10 years.
No, I don't think we're disputing that.
Okay,
Yeah, I think what's happening is that what we're trying to do is get a handle on these as a city to find out
Oh, no.
that. It's really a matter that we're trying to be fair to everybody in the city. And so what we're hoping that happens in your situation is that, I mean, you're lucky enough to have a driveway, really, because some folks don't have driveways. Is that, you know, your family can make adjustments to allow maybe the non-disabled people in your house, 'cause I think you said your son-in-law is disabled
Yes.
as well. That, but your daughter is not, so maybe her car goes in front, you know, your son-in-law, you can hopefully make adjustments, so.
Right.
Yeah.
There's already 3 vehicles on the
Oh, yeah,
drive.
yeah.
And then that's why I have mine's on the street.
Yeah, and you said you had another vehicle you had to need to repair.
Right, I'm trying
I
to
think,
get,
yeah, it's parked in front of the garage,
that's
right?
parked in front of the
Wait,
garage,
right.
yes.
Yeah, so maybe you get rid of that one. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. You have to
Right.
decide.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to get it repaired because I have grandchildren that are gonna be
sure.
driving.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't have the funds. I'm on a fixed income. But they have their vehicles constantly on the driveway, and there's no way for me to park there. That's why I had the handicap in the front. Because I mean, it's not like they're not utilizing it. That driveway is constantly with vehicles.
Yeah, busy house.
Yeah, well, she's the only one that works right now, because like I said, her husband's disabled. So the only time that car is off the lot is when she goes to work. Otherwise, the
Well,
driveway's
hopefully she
full.
can hopefully she can park on the street, and that'll help. I know that's not a
But
great
it's,
solution.
yeah,
but-
it's hard for them, because if I park behind them, I'll be blocking the sidewalk.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And, you know, when she has to go to work, I'd have to get up and take my car out of the way so that she could park. Because I don't try to block them because he's constantly in the hospital. So she takes them and brings them and
Maybe she can
whatnot.
park on the street. That might be a solution. But anyway, I just want you to understand our policy.
No, I understand your
Why- why-
policy.
why-
I just couldn't understand why I had gotten it for all those years and then all of a sudden changed.
Yeah, well, the reason it came before us is because of a denial of one we made a week or 2 prior.
Okay.
And the subject individual actually went driving around looking for handicap signs on addresses.
Is
And
it,
that's how your address came to light to Public Works, and they said,
Well, they have a driveway, why do they have one?
right.
and so that's kind of the situation we've been put in
I
within
understand.
the last month.
Is
And
it-
obviously, it affects you, and we apologize for that, but we're just trying to be consistent and
Right.
fair across the
I
board,
understand.
across the city.
Is it possible to extend the driveway onto the grass area, make an addition to the driveway so that I can pull the cars up, so that this way they're not in the way of anyone else?
That would be a decision for the building department and rezoning. My guess is
They
the
might take a
answer.
look at that.
My guess is the answer might be no. Now, what I have seen is extensions of driveways in the backyard.
Okay.
I haven't seen extension of driveways in the front yard. I mean, that probably wouldn't be allowed, but in the backyard, you might be able to do a cutout.
We were just talking, her front, she would have to actually go into her front yard to extend the driveway.
Right.
There's no way to go the other way, they're too close together.
Right.
I just don't know if that's
That's
something.
gonna be a building department and zoning issue, which you can go down and talk to the zoning, they're down on the bottom floor.
Okay.
And they can at least give you an answer on whether or not you have to request a variance or something like that.
Well, thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Do we need to make a motion on that, or just?
Yeah, because did we deny it last week? No, we pushed it down the road for due diligence.
Deny the
Yeah.
request? Okay. Okay, then I will make a motion to deny the handicap sign for 7120 Jefferson.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Rental registration hearings. Do we have any, Nick? We have any? I mean, you're on the agenda, but there's no addresses listed. No. Okay. Okay. Meeting's open to the public. Anyone here care to speak? Folks, you can sit and, please.
Hi, good morning. How's everyone?
Good morning.
My name is Leticia Castellanos. I'm a resident, of course, of Hammond. I've been living here for a little bit over 15 years. And we have always had an issue with the lighting in our area. Seems like at some point there was light and suddenly they took it off, and it has been like that for years. I have been trying to talk to different people. No one has been able to help me. So I'm here. Finally, I got the right answer and to come in and talk to, bring my my concern. And that's why I'm here. It's like they're right now working on the lights in my house. I got so excited that I was like, yes, finally they're putting lights, but found out that they were just replacing the
Is
poles.
it the ornamental street lights?
They're basically street lights that they're replacing. So at one point, we did talk to councilmen, they were actually gonna start working on it. They removed the lights, and then suddenly everything got stopped, and he said that they were gonna put at least some ornamental lights to help with the lighting, because it is very dark, especially when winter comes. By 5, 6, it's completely pitch black.
Can you give us an area that we're talking about?
600 Kane.
600 Kane, 600 block of Kane?
Kane, There's the railroad tracks are there.
Yeah.
So that's where I stay. And it's very dark. And of course, that is a lot of cause for vandalism and other things, because even though we have light in our house porch,
Right.
it doesn't cover nothing on the streets. I do have kids. There's some, of course, neighbors that do have kids as well.
So presently, there's no ornamental street lighting, no street lights.
In half of the block, there is, but the other half, coming down
Oh,
to,
I see
I
what
guess,
you mean.
Douglas, there's no light at all. To Soul Avenue. You're right.
That's where the lights are or are not?
Are not.
Okay.
So if we go through, basically Calumet, the first couple of houses, there is light, but then after that, there's nothing. There's no light at
I
all.
mean, I would say, and Dean, you can correct me if I'm right, there are specifications as to the difference or the distance between streetlights on a normal residential street, are there not?
So not every street, as the board knows, has ornamental streetlights
Right,
throughout.
right.
Where there are none, we can try to petition NIPSCO to put in a streetlight from their pole, right? They could extend it.
Oh, I mean, just if it's a utility pole with no light, just add a light to
In the
that.
past, if there's one available, we've requested, in the short term.
Would you know, is there
You don't-
a telephone pole across the street close to where you are? Not
A power
power line?
line.
Yeah, actually, when we talked to the last, alderman, what was his name?
He got into some issues and so on. Salinas.
Salinas, yeah. He went to
It's been a
visit
while.
us.
Okay.
We have like a little meeting with the neighbors. He went there and
he
he
saw.
stayed there until it was dark, and he was like, wow, I'm surprised that you guys live in this place like that.
Okay.
According with him, he talked to the building department, I think, and they removed the old poles. They were there. We had light when I bought the house 15 years ago. There were some old kind of lights. They removed the poles with the promise, then they were gonna replace it. And then for some reason, they just removed it and they never put it back.
Gotcha.
Nothing happened.
Last week, like she was telling you guys, we were happy because we saw, what was the name of the company? The electricity company.
NIPSCO's working out there right now, yeah.
And we stopped the guys and we asked, hey, are you guys gonna replace it? And they were,
Are you gonna, good.
are you
put
gonna add
lights?
more lights? They were like, no, we're replacing whatever it is here.
Gotcha.
But if you guys concerned, you can call the company. I said,
They called
really?
to call NIPSCO. And
We actually called NIPSCO, and NIPSCO said, well, you know what? It's okay, then you call, and maybe it's easier because the whole crew is there, but you need approval from the city. We can take decisions.
I see.
And she said, like, it's so easy because the whole crew is there. They can add like 3, 4, whatever poles and the lights, but we can't do that. So
without the approval and.
we call the alderman and then
councilman.
the councilman, they let us know then
Right.
the meeting.
So
And so we're here. We're just concerned about the light and some bumps.
So that's the first one.
That's the first one. The second one are the
If
bumps.
we could stay on that, so.
Correct.
So the city, the NIPSCO light poles that are on, the lights that are on the NIPSCO power poles, the city pays a monthly fee for that. So we need to apply, the city needs to apply through
Yeah.
my department to get lights put on poles. So I'll take a look at that.
Please,
We will
please,
greatly appreciate it.
But what NIPSCO's doing now is just simply their pole line replacement. They're not, as you said, they're
Yeah.
just replacing the existing facilities that are there.
They actually replaced the 3 lights of the street because we got 2 from the Calumet side and 1 in Soul Avenue.
Issue.
And we asked them, hey, can you, yeah, it's so easy because the whole crew here, but we need approval.
We can't do
We,
anything.
we need to agree to pay NIPSCO for that.
Okay.
And monthly charge for the lights. So
Okay.
we'll look into that.
Please.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the alderman promised to replace the sidewalk and the lights, ornamental
The
lights.
ornamental
I
lights.
think it's how they go.
Not the current one, the one we talked previously. So he came, he's like, and you also need lights on your side of the street because you guys don't have any. So it's like, there's nothing, so we could put ornamental lights on the street to help. But nothing has gotten done.
He also removed the bar in the corner. He promised that, he did. He destroyed the old bar in the corner of Sol and Kane. They destroyed everything, but they never fixed anything. And now, please, because my kids are a little bigger, they want, you know, like kids, they want to play in the street, but it's kind of dangerous. The other concern that we have.
So that was the first concern.
That was the first. The other one, if we can add some
Speed bumps.
speed bumps. I know that it's kind of hard, but hopefully one of you guys have a chance during the weekends. I might can be in trouble because the weekend when the church is busy, the Baptist church, buses run
Go
like
through.
a highway in the street. And I'm not lying to nobody. You can see they go like 50, 55,
just see them
full
flying
of
down.
kids.
I'll talk to them. I'm gonna talk.
And then every time then the train tracks are blocked, people use that street like a highway, try and pass
go
or try
around.
and cut in front of the train.
Well, I would be honest with you and say we've had numerous requests for speed bumps across the city over the past 3 or 4 or 5 months. It's something that we do not advocate doing.
Okay.
But the city departments, they will look at other avenues or things they can do to try and minimize the speed of vehicles on the street.
Okay.
We'll commit that to you, that we will try to see that. I don't know if it would start maybe with patrols from PD on Sundays. I'm not going to speak for Captain Long, but, or Assistant Chief Long.
Yeah, the police can say that because they
But,
always catch people.
I mean, it's
in
probably
there.
like fish in a barrel, I get
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
you know, you could just sit there and write them all day, but, the city engineer at times, he's looked at streets and he's thought of ways to try and minimize speeds on vehicles just by doing different things and being creative, so.
Okay. And as I said, we do have kids, so it's. one of
Your
those
councilman
concerns.
here, he's listening, he's paying attention, so he'd probably come up with some ideas as well, so.
I'm also going to I'm going to personally go speak to First Baptist Church about the buses. I'll just tell them we received complaints about the buses speeding, and hopefully that'll take care of that. So,
Because that does help. We do go to church and so on, but it's like, I have kids, so it's like, we were walking. I mean, we're Catholic, which that doesn't really matter, but it's like, I have to grab my kids because they're just crossing so quick that it's like, oh my goodness.
Especially when the train is there, when they block the intersections, the cars are like crazy trying to go around or try and pass the train when it's coming. Man, it's dangerous. You can see them flying.
okay,
Especially you guys, I think you have a report, they always catch cars in there.
gotcha. We're going to take care of that, okay?
Please.
Okay.
Listen, thank you.
And again, please, if you don't see anything happening, in a month or so, just come on back and let us know, and we'll just keep our foot on the accelerator and see if we get something done for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else? Oh, Councilman Torres. Yes, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Okay, as far as the lighting is concerned, put that block for ornamental lights for next year. It's be on the list. Yes, 600 block. In fact, we'll do the 700 block while we're at it. 600 and 700. And, well, you told them about the speed bumps. But anyway, I have another request. On 133rd in Columbia, there's a squatter on city land owned by the urban enterprise.
Yeah, I believe that's been resolved.
It has.
It's been resolved, Councilman.
It has?
Yes.
That tent was there this morning.
We'll go back. He's been told to leave. We actually made him leave and actually took his tent. I'm surprised he must have got another tent then.
It's the same blue tent.
What's it at? Where is it at?
143rd in Columbia, east.
We're talking about Sibley.
Yeah, Sibley. So we haven't addressed that one. We addressed the one on Sibley.
Oh, Sibley, okay. Yeah, there is one on Sibley. That's,
Also owned by the union.
Over by Marin.
I will,
Probably in the
I will,
woods.
yeah, same
Probably over
property.
there in the woods.
I will take care of that,
Right?
Councilman. 143rd in Columbia, blue
in
tent.
Columbia, yeah, just east in that wooded area.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Well, before we adjourn, I would just like to take a moment to let everybody know that this is Mr. Perez's last meeting with the board today. He's plotting his next chapter in his life, and this is maybe one of the first little dominoes to fall. And so I just want to say, as a president of this board, that we respect his professionalism that he's brought to the board, his bilingualism that he's brought to the board. It's helped us through many situations with people that made it easier for Jeff and I to understand. And being a member of Public Works, we have many issues that come before us from Public Works, and he's been able to help us work through some of those issues as well. So for me, I want to thank Johnny and wish him nothing but the best.
Well, I just want to thank the mayor for giving me this opportunity, especially you guys, Kevin, Jeff, Kevin Smith. I just want to thank you. Dean Button, great team to work with. I'm going to miss you guys.
We're going to miss you too, brother.
Would you adjourn us, Mr. Perez?
Well, make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.